Hello and welcome to the weekday live cast of the third round tournament of position match between Zerodoom and Jake Armstrong. I am Opie Wright here with my co-caster Ponoob
Howdy, howdy.
and our host Bear, who is the silentest of hosts, and we love him for it. So you won't be hearing him talking, but me and Ponoob, we do enough talking for him as well as both of us, so there'll be no problems there. Right now, we're getting into the draft between these two players. Zerodoom, as the higher seed, is going to be able to choose both to pick map first, and we'll see if he decides to spy or snipe first.
Yeah, to give some context on what's on play here. So Jake has already gotten himself promoted out of Challenger by winning his last week match, beating Wodar, actually, of all people. Now they're both playing. They need to win this match and win the next match, and they can get promoted to Bronze. Bronze obviously being a huge jump there for Jake, going from Challenger to Bronze, but it's also desirable for Zero Doom because he's in Copper currently.
Yeah, Copper gets that. Does not have their matchups in the first round. That is the only spot they can fight for in the top 8 of the tournament of position. Lose, win, win, win is the only way you can get a promotion out of the actual placement in tournament of position. That will get you 7th place and into fifth place. Fifth place is the correct one, and into bronze. And Zerodoom is looking to try to do that, as well as Jake
Yeah,
tonight.
on the topic of Jake's play, while we're still waiting for this draft to warm up, he almost beat Turnout in really the closest result you could possibly expect. It was tied, and Turnout won with a bit of reffing decision at the end, and then has went on to beat Wodar, who was the #1 seed in the tournament, to get here. Zero Doom did beat, I believe, Duckett? No, JD. JD.
No,
He beat
yeah,
JD.
beat JD from Obsidian, the second seed from Obsidian.
And it was quite
Uh,
handed too. He took it with a pretty dominating lead, if I recall. Now I'm not sure who's going to go into this as the favorite. I'd actually be inclined to say that they're pretty even.
I'd say that Zero Doom is just a slight favorite just because of 6,000 games compared to not. I think 1,500 from Jake, but we've seen so far in this tournament of position that the number of games is not always indicative of who's actually going to be winning a set. And
Okay, it looks like Zero Doom's having a bit of issue with the drafter. If they have to do it manually, I mean, I'll ref it. But Jake's not in the lobby. He's doing the draft from without logging in for whatever reason.
let's see. Yeah, we're gonna have to get these issues
Yeah, okay, they're
fixed.
running a
Looks like
different draft
there's
code.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna grab a new draft code from so we can go see what's up with that. They both joined the room, so it does appear to be working. All right. Okay. So looks like
There we go.
Zero Doom wants to spy first and pick venue first. So we'll see the first ban coming from Zero Doom being Balcony. Any 2 of 3 who does not want to play the swingy maps, but Jake answers right back with a Tayen ban. Neither of them wanting to play those swingy venues.
Yeah, probably the two most typical bans that we've seen all season, just because they're the two most polarizing maps.
From
They're
there,
rapid firing these.
oh yeah, they're just running through this draft really fast. Oh my goodness, Zero Doom picks Gallery. Jake picks Courtyard for their doubled venues. Both of those very skill testing, very, you know, very sniper favored tends to be. Then Zero Doom kind of breaks a little bit from the trend of no swingy venues picking high rise while Jake picks ballroom, a personal favorite. And they finish off the draft with zerodoom picking aquarium and Jake picking library.
Sharks and poles. Sharks and poles. Hopefully we get there because it is the end of the set with the aquarium and library. The most important, obviously, being the doubled, which will be gallery and courtyard, which are both like there's a good chance that we could see some spy wins early and someone could take a nice strong lead. Actually, we got a lot of
Yeah.
those maps. Ballroom's also pretty 50-50.
Yeah,
Aquarium,
ballroom
high
is the
rise.
most 50-50, one would say. 51% spy, 49% sniper, I believe, historically throughout SCL history. So we could be seeing a lot of strong play and a lot of breaking away from the other player on that first single round with high rise and ballroom, depending on which one of these players can actually make that happen. But first, before we get there, we have Gallery. Gallery, one of the most popular venues this season, I believe.
Yeah, so it wasn't as popular when it was old art, and I think a lot of the veterans never really transitioned into making it their preferred map when it became new art. A lot of the newer guys do really like Gallery. It gives a lot of something. I think it's a different feel from other maps in regards to the vertical sense versus most maps you're looking left and right. Gallery, it's all straightforward.
Yeah, you can see the whole thing at once, but there's also so much to look at the same time. Plus, it's kind of hard to see things in the back unless you start zooming in, which then you're leaving the front unguarded. But it's kind of a very it's a venue where you have a lot of spy agency as far as what you want to be doing. As long as this is important, uh, you have to make sure you're getting that flirt done because on gallery flirt is probably more perilous than on any other venue. We have seen
I'd agree
spies,
with that.
multiple times this season just fail to complete a game because of that flirt, and even if they would have otherwise won. So
Yeah, I recall a lot of platinum games, just watching my peers where they won the game, but they didn't complete flirt, which isn't generally going to be your first line of attack. The game is getting started. It's going to be Zero Doom on Spy here as Duke, and welcome to week 3 of Tournament of Placements.
yeah, something to note about Duke on gallery is that because all of these painting pads have you stand to the side, looking at these paintings on the walls, Duke kind of has a a unique value on this venue in terms of bugs. When the ambassador is walking from the back towards you as Duke, you can make a bug as they're passing by, and there will be little to no snapback because Duke is one of two characters who does not keep his arms at his center when he's just standing at a pad. The other one being Kane or Morgan. So we'll see if Zero Doom can make use of that as we head into the spy round.
Yeah, starting the game up, we got a good 51% flirt, and the seduction target did us a favor by leaving. There's been a lot of statue visitors. It's not been a particularly friendly map in the first minute here, and we're done with flirt.
Yeah, two greens on gallery. That's gonna be, Zero Doom's gonna be feeling very, very good about that. We are in the microfilm spot, so we'll see if Zero Doom wants to take that. But having that flirt done this early on, not having to worry about how you're going to complete that, is fantastic for Zero Doom. Does not actually take the microfilm here, though. Might want to go for a bug, but takes the path around the ambassador, saying, "Look at me, I'm not bugging." So nothing happening yet.
A lot of what Gallery ends up being is planning. Like you're saying with Duke, being in a position to do the reverse drive-by, or choosing an angle that's gonna be going perpendicular to the laser. When you're playing on gallery, if you ever take that bug, it is a wave to the camera. You are asking to get shot, and we're really hoping they're zoomed in on something else, which is kind of hard to bet. Ambassador is going to be the top thing to be watching. We do get the inspect here. We're going to likely be doing the other one. Are you feeling inspect swap here today, OP?
Well, first we have to get that contact, and just like flirt, contact can be a little bit perilous on gallery. We do step into a second bookshelf visit, which might look a little bit suspicious to Jake, seeing as we were in that microfilm spot the first time around. However, we are kind of out in the open, so Jake can easily guard this if he wants, and if he's suspicious, that's exactly what he's going to be doing, and zerodoom is actually going to take the book out, wondering if this is going to end up being a microfilm transfer directly.
Yeah, I'm not loving Zero Doom's mission completion at the moment, but looking at Jake's sniper side, there are a lot of highlights. With something like a purloin late, especially if we get a green, we might just force a shot.
Yeah, we might. Here
In
comes
the
the
end of red.
contact. It's
This is fake. There's
green.
actually no real
Oh,
DA.
oh, the DA burned us. Was in there for just a moment and then left. And we know it's completely fake as Jake because both DAs are out of conversation right now.
With the DA splitting so late, it's never actually a full certainty. This microfilm looks incredibly sketchy if you're watching it. Jake has not shot for it yet, and that usually means he didn't catch it. That's a bug. It's a really weird
It's
path too. If you didn't see the bug, you can likely shoot for the path because we went green book around the conversation.
all right. Here comes our final mission. We're gonna contact again. This time the double agent is in conversation for us.
In the
It's a
end of red.
white.
The white's not
Oh
helping.
no! The double agent splits again, and we time out because the double agent and the double. Okay, double agent splits and then walks right back into conversation. Are you? Zero Doom must be just seething after that. Getting screwed by that double agent 2 times in a row.
They go straight into the next game, and I don't love that. If you are in a situation where you get a frustrating game, take a moment, go watch the replay. Even if you're not necessarily like a replay watcher typically, just use it as an excuse to take a breather. They're just trucking along. They did the draft really fast too. It's not too surprising. Taft takes a really bug path. No highlight. There's a puts a laser over him. No actual mission completion here from Jake.
Yeah, and something that's interesting is it's very hard to note who might be a suspect for the bug, but if like watch the ambassador, think, okay, could this character that I've just passed near them, could they be a suspect? If you can pull off a frame on one of those suspects, that is one of the strongest things you can do if the sniper is crediting a bug. So
I
we'll
find the
see if
rule is
Jake is on that.
yeah, the bigger the map, the harder it is. Hello, Wheels. Wheels is reading out in the middle of nowhere. We got things to watch while Jake does nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
looks like that was for the
goodness.
briefcase.
Yeah, he was doing it over the briefcase. It's either a highlight or a super low light, um, depending on your opponent and how you feel that day.
Or you just don't consider it at all, you know? We could just completely ignore all the
We
behavioralism.
we have a really good banana bread, assuming the double agent doesn't do exactly what it did to Zero Doom last game. We're not taking it immediately. The that conversation does have a suspected double agent too.
Yeah,
We
we
could
have
even parlay
no
into a
mission.
bug. We have options here, Jake, but I think he's just committing to doing nothing.
Yeah, we have no mission progress.
In
Luckily,
the end of
our
red.
SD comes to us. We get a contact here, finally, as we've been waiting here. We're also gonna get this first flirt, which is quite nice for not having moved at all from this front conversation. And a lot of people on gallery will note, okay, who's been in this front conversation for a long time, and lowlight them. The problem with that is if you're fishing for a lowlight at this point for Jake, you've still got a lot of work to do, and it's only 1 minute 30 seconds to do it.
I generally don't low light for front conversation. Huh. And I low light for everything. So the real thing here that Jake can consider is he really just gonna go for the do nothing? Or are we gonna do some time ads? Because you need to do the time ads about now and ambassadors outside. You've kind of lost the opportunity in that sense. Or are
Yeah,
we just hard rushing late? We are at least finishing up our flirt in some sense. We're at 68% now.
yeah. We do decide to leave that conversation no time ad while this is happening. We might try to go for this walking bug. We are slightly faster than Pearls. That
This is
is the
adorable if we
good
take it.
thing. This is
Oh, come
this is
on.
the good thing about
Ah.
having Pearls as your ambassador, but he doesn't decide to take it.
Yeah, the
Jake,
angle there would have been very much walking. You'd have to just be based on them not expecting it. And to be fair, you'd never expect that bug.
yeah. Jake gonna do a
Cheese!
cheese
Glorious
microfilm
cheese!
and break some animations doing it, which is kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. Especially right at the end, there was a bit of jerkiness to that animation. We're gonna green test Purloin, and we're just not a suspect. It looks like from Zero Doom's point of view, we've been idling for so long that this hard rush in the late game might not
Where are
get
you going,
caught. But
Alice?
Aresti is moving,
The chase is on. If she
and
settles
there's
in this
only seven
conversation with
seconds.
no shot for the Purloin.
I think we just gonna time out. We can't get this flirt done in time. Alice is not gonna be. Oh no!
I feel like that's just the game going, I'm sorry, Zero Doom, we screwed you. Let's do karma. Let's give Jake the same exact treatment of you played really well at the end there, hit his greens. It was fantastically done. The cheese was choice, and I like it. And then Seduction Target just decides to walk the 20-second walk across gallery, and we don't have like the know-how to go grab a statue and swap it or anything, which to be fair wouldn't have been brilliant anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like we were a suspect at all. From all of that idling we did, Zero Doom just wasn't prepared for the super late game rush. And look at this, no time to go review those replays. Zero Doom not checking to see what did this spy do that got so many missions by me. Zero Doom
So
playing another character that has the sideways bugs that I mentioned. The only other character that has that in in the game. First Duke, now Kane. Probably gonna look for those. Has the green book in hand right now though. Has a 51% flirt to start. Going immediately to drop this off into blue. There's a lot of commotion around the area. Toby's offering to Smallman. Other characters are picking up briefcases. I think this is gonna be. We're gonna get away with this through sheer chaos in the area.
yeah, we took it out really quickly. We didn't do an animation or anything. To just the chaos book take instead of say chaos bug or chaos swaps, which are more common. It's a good play, and unfortunately for Jake, if you see a book early and you don't know where it's from, you need to put at least some suspicion on that. We don't have a highlight, and we're not. We only just get the highlight for the inspect. I don't think we're a particularly high suspect, despite it.
Yeah, if we can get a two green flirt here from Zero Doom, that would be a really good opportunity. Just take a contact where you can find it and immediately rush over to statues. Who's going to shoot you for two statues this early in the game? Unfortunately, we do not hit that green flirt, even though the double agent does join us again.
Yeah, we're in a situation where General's kind of inside us. It actually is kind of one of those spots where if you purloin, it can be a bit hard sometimes for the sniper to know who did the purloin, especially if you green it. We still have the banana bread here available, and I'm not sure why we're not taking. Honestly, this is the most full you can get out of that conversation.
We do take
We're
our second
prioritizing.
flirt. Wheels did help us out a little bit by moving around there, getting our flirt cooldown done before we take the contact. However, we're still not taking this contact. And
Yeah,
against Jake, who we've previously seen not really bother low lighting for contact, I'm not sure what you're waiting for. Is Zero Doom here?
the one thing I don't particularly like from Zero Doom is we had a completely full conversation here in the back. The banana bread was already good
Banana
just
bread.
based on this conversation, and he hasn't really been looking at the front conversation to even consider the banana bread. I think he must have another plan, but we already have now 3 missions with the contact coming off. I think we could have done that earlier and be fine. Bug
Yeah, if
into
we had done that
bookcase.
earlier and
Bug into
just
bookcase
gone to
is tempting.
statues,
You could do like a reverse. Nope, he doesn't take it. You could do like a wrong arm cane bug on that entry into bookcase. It would have been
and
quite
then
potent.
cancel it with the book pickup. Yeah, but we
Yeah.
do step into statues. Looks like this swap's going to be watched. The question is, will Jake take the shot for this? And probably not, honestly. Jake can see that the statue is currently the right statue, is watching for it. It's still the right statue, and Zero Doom gets away with his spy win.
Yeah. One of the things I was considering there is this is Kane. Like you missed the microfilm, but if there's a character in the game that you maybe missed a bug, Kane Kane's on that list. He could have taken a shot based on the character, uh, without ever having to do a bug. That being said, Zero Doom's up.
Yeah, 2-1-0 Doom, and now Jake decides to, make a deal with the devil, contract some power for his soul, and steps into the spiral as Smallman.
That bug would have been really good. There's no way to really expect any bug that happens between the front conversations and the back conversations. It just doesn't stick. We do have a drink in hand, which I think might have been part of the reason why it didn't stick.
It couldn't quite trigger that bug when we wanted to. Unlike our last game as Spy for Jake, we immediately have a 51% flirt, which, considering how he lost the last game, it's a good look.
We're doing a no talk in front conversation, but if there's a conversation in the game you want a no talk in, gallery front conversation may as well be it. It doesn't get watched half as much, especially when the ambassador's anywhere inside.
Yeah, Ambassador is starting to put down some fingerprints in places. One goes on a statue, one's going on blue bookcase right now. So that might be something Jake is looking to do, but instead we're going to get that 2 flirt, and just like the first Zero Doom game, this flirt's already done, and Jake is feeling good about
I forgot to mention, by the way, we took a drink outside. We should be good.
it. Or Lolit.
Or Lilith. As Smallman, I think that we don't already have a highlight is definitely a decision that's been made by Zero Doom. Now we do, as soon as I say it, but we're on to statues. This is actually what I attempted in my set against your end. Just I'm already gonna get lowlit, or sorry, get highlight as Smallman. I may as well just go find a reason to go get highlight. Just go to inspects early. This isn't too
Yeah,
early. This is suspicious though.
yeah. This is double inspect. One of these statues picking up a fingerprint off of it. So Jake looking to perhaps finish with those fingerprints. The blue bookcase fingerprints are now gone, unless the ambassador still has a book, which they don't. So nothing there. We don't actually pick up the fingerprint on the statue. It doesn't look like Jake was aware.
Yeah, so we're already in Smallman danger time. If we request a drink here, banana bread covering purloin, it's already hard to take the shot, and then Jake has the potential of even dancing if he
Banana
wants
bread.
to. He
Yeah,
times
here
the
comes
banana
the
bread well.
purloin.
Purloin
It's
to
a
white.
white. It's
Will we
kind of behind the
dance or are we just gonna hope?
conversation. Zerodoom's taking low lights while Toby stands up, so it's very hard to see
Our cover's
who
gone.
this
Our
is.
cover's gone. Oh, okay, the shot's going on orange dress. The scary thing there, and he did dance in the last few seconds, is Cowboy was the majority of our cover, and he moved out of the way. That being said, it looks like the purloin was just missed, or he thought it was a green if Orange Dress did a reject early. With banana bread purloins, that's 2 missions in your face. You are often to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, I think mostly it was just the fact that while Toby was kneeling, Zero Doom was taking low lights. Because Toby kneeling is the biggest tell that Smallman's purloining in the game, but Zero Doom saw neither the kneel nor the stand back up, and so thought this must be the spy that uh, just purloined, referring to Orange Dress, and makes the wrong shot.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think a large thing, and it's not mentioned enough, is timing the banana bread with the purloin. So he did the request, he did the banana bread, and then the actual purloin happened within a few seconds of the banana bread. We do see situations where Toby's standing there for 8, 9 seconds while you get a really long white banana bread. Jake doing the micro and the macro there.
yeah, absolutely. Doing that, timing that contact well, even though it was a white. In fact, I think it might have kind of had to been a white if that timing was to work out any better. So perhaps Jake betting on the, or going intentionally to a white contact just to say, okay, I don't trust myself to hit a green to time it better. So here comes a white, so I can time it, so I can generally time it well. Now we're on to courtyard. The venue of one hard tell wins.
Fingerprint being the honorary hardtail, which it often is. Um, with
I wish.
Yeah, so I mean there are ways to make it a less of a hardtail, right? You do difficult on your fingerprints. You frame someone with the swap and hope they don't see the animation, the fade. You get a green purloin potentially with a reject chain before, or if you're lucky after you.
Banana bread.
Bug, not really ever going to be a soft tail, but you can do some really nice bugs on courtyard. Um, there's ways that you can make the hardtail not brutally hard, both in a sense that it's you doing an animation, but also just you can do easy tails.
Yeah, Purloin probably is one of the more viable hardtails, surprisingly enough, on this venue comparatively to a lot of other venues. Just because if you do a Purloin in the right spot, where you think, all right, this statue visitor has just rejected, or this statue visitor, if it's a green, will have to either reject or take, which means that I can get away with less suspicion for it. That is probably one of the better ways to get a Purloin buy and to get a Spy win buy on Courtyard.
The other
Um,
option, and I don't think Zero Doom's a particular believer in it, is Time Ad. Time Ad's surprisingly good on this map. Ambassador takes a drink. We are not requesting. We're not playing for fingerprints. We're not playing for anything right now. We don't have the banana bread or the inspects, let alone the hardtail.
yeah, Zero Doom looking around, probably trying to figure out maybe who to frame, perhaps. It is a consideration that a spy must make. Is there a good target to go and frame this game? We do go and pick up those inspects, so
We've also picked up the fingerprintable statue. I don't think we ever actually looked at this statue. Uh, we also are not taking the fingerprint. This is the second time we've seen this game where spies have picked up a fingerprintable statue and not taken the mission for whatever reason.
yeah, Zero
Interesting
Doom
path.
doing a bit of a weird path there. And you said he wasn't a believer in it, but here comes that green time ad from Zero Doom.
Yeah, but this is more by obligation than anything, in my opinion. General did actually check his watch at exactly the same time as us, but with the
Banana
green,
bread.
that's less potent. You can actually frame someone with the watch check if you're not careful.
Yeah, I think a green purloin here into a statue visit and kind of force the sniper to watch for the late swap would have been great, but it is risking it all on a green test. Zudum has been hitting quite a few greens this set, but does not appear to want to go for it. In the meantime, Jake has to hold his shot.
Yeah, without the inspect, the obvious play is just go get the other inspect, and then because you're here already, go swap. This has to be stressful from Jake. He's going to be getting slow beeping for all of this. It really does make holding your shot harder. Safety off?
Was there a safety off?
No, uh, he just relit his double agent. So the swap comes off. It's going to be really important who picks it up. Someone like Taft, for example,
Ooh,
would
we
be
do a little bit of a
interesting.
bug path from Jake's perspective. It was going to be hard for Jake to see that.
Okay, I think this is known
Do
overtime.
you?
We're bugging. Wow, five
Wow,
missions.
that's amazing.
Overtime starts beeping, and Jake has no idea. He takes a shot on someone at statues. I mean, the statue I think might have swapped by the time that he shot, but he shortcuts the overtime with the bug while Jake is over rotating, trying to watch two swaps at once. Really good, just laser play there.
Yeah, Zero Doom on top of that, it can be a very strong strategy to, make that overtime come before the sniper expects it, before the swap could even come off. In that case, it was pretty close, so I'm not sure if it's really something that quite worked as intended from Zero Doom there, but it does
Banana
force a little
bread.
bit of less time for Jake to make that decision even once the swap does come off. So
This is
it's
a
a
situation as Jake. I would actually be kind of afraid of getting highlight. We're a twin. We did a really weird path, and then we were on camera with the talking banana bread. If someone goes and highlights you just for being the talking twin, he would have been a good suspect. The actual reality is, I think Zero Doom will probably just highlight for inspects.
yeah, it's hard not to just highlight for inspects on courtyard, unless you're very used to having varied reasons for your highlights, which honestly not many players are.
Yeah, everything's going well here. Got our flirt started nice and quick. Weird little path. I don't think that's going to be considered AI-like.
The question is, does zerodoom know enough to think that's not AI-like? And
Yeah, I
not many
mean,
people are pathing snipers, to be fair.
it's powerful. If you can get like the really obvious bounces, baby's first pathing lowlights, uh, this isn't necessarily a map that you get them every time. Like on pub, for example, it's really valuable because you just get 2 lowlights out of your 12-person party. That's a bug.
That's a yeah, that's a bug, and it actually kind of got hidden by the SDA and doesn't seem to have been noticed by zerodoom.
Yeah, this could be game winning. We are doing the fingerprint, which is unusual. Typically, in this situation, you would just do the inspects. And the problem with doing fingerprint is actually the most available fingerprint is on a statue, which if you're doing that, you're doing 5 missions.
Yeah, it's just not necessary and could get you shot, even though you get the bug by Ambassador going to another statue. We're actually, if we're going to try to finish with statues, we actually have to be careful not to go on to one with fingerprints. Jake maybe needs to be on that, or else could just get shot for the fingerprints and the inspects. Here we go into statues. This is not fingerprintable to my knowledge, so this is the correct move from Jake here.
Yeah, and he had to do this. Ambassador moved from the statues next to the briefcase, so you couldn't pick up comfort under his feet. Now we're just doing the inspect, but since the bug was free in its courtyard, this looks like a win.
Yeah, Jake managing to keep it even despite the spy win from Zero Doom on Courtyard. 3-3 now in the set, which Zero Doom does win on a tie. Courtyard, an interesting double to pick. Usually we see Courtyard coming later in sets when the favorite kind of wants a solid venue to lock it up, at least in a higher level play. But as a doubled venue, it can be kind of hard not to just split.
Yeah, I've asked them because Jake was getting a bit skatey and we've had issues previously. I'm offering him the idea, and I think they're immediately taking it of doing the mid session split um, just to get the client reset. I think it's gotten worse and worse as the games have gone on previously in Jake's sets.
Yeah, and worse as any single game has gone on as well. We've noticed it's just a really unfortunate, I think, side effect of the patch, the most recent patch that Checker has pushed out. Um, because we did not see any of it before the patch. It also is caused by lag, but it's kind of different than any other lag we've seen before. It's just a really weird thing that happens in some games this patch, and it's pretty annoying to deal with, unfortunately for both players. But hopefully this restart should help alleviate that as the set goes on.
Yeah. The other reality is it's just going to happen every game, and the longer the games go, the more we're going to notice it. But I figured may as well offer the suggestion here while we're watching. We're still in courtyard. It's 3-3, which is a zero doom uh, advantage, not a lead, but an advantage because he wins the tiebreak. The longer the set goes, and if it's still tied, zero doom's going to be happier and happier. Playing queen here with search target being one of its wins and really far
Yeah.
away.
Yeah, the thing is with being a higher seed in these sets, if you can get even one spy game advantage, or break that serve somehow, then it can be extremely strong because not only does the lower seed have to bring it back to even, but then they also have to take the lead themselves, which is just so much leeway for the higher seed if they can make that break serve happen. So Zero Doom
Banana
definitely
bread.
looking to okay, here's a split. Jake again though doesn't really do those lowlights for being out of conversation. So Zero Doom maybe not doing enough research on their opponent. We saw it earlier, did not take the early BB on Gallery and instead waited on it.
There's a
This
play
time
there
trying
earlier
to bait a
that
split.
I enjoyed. Zero Doom in one conversation sees the ambassador arrow on the other side of the map and requests the drink, hoping that the ambassador had just taken a drink because the tearing statue was in the way. Now we got our banana bread, we got 51% flirt. We're gulping the drink, which is important. It is necessary for us to be able to do bugs, inspects, purloin potentially here if we can get maybe a reject from Twin. It's less valuable now.
Yeah, and we're trying to find that hardtail. As always, it's Courtyard. It's the Courtyard script. There's a reason we have a script for Courtyard, and that's because it's very, very samey the whole time around. Um,
I
for some people, that means it's comfortable.
I just disagree with that statement, but that's because I know what a difficult print is. Um,
Yeah, even difficult prints on Courtyard.
what is this?
Zero Doom,
What?
has Zero Doom two floored in every single game? No, there was the second Gallery game he did not two floor in. Every other game, every other spy game, Zero Doom has two flirted. That's gotta be that. Like, it's not the most consequential thing in the world. That's gotta feel good.
If we had taken the purloin in there, like we could have finished without moving because the Twin came back to us. And then just would have just need to summon the ambassador, over which clearly Zeradoom's got the power. He does do the inspects correctly. He gets the left one first. Taft does not screw him out of inspect. We're
We
not
don't.
swapping,
Yeah, we don't do the
and
swap here, interestingly enough, and we don't pick up the. Wait, what? Oh, okay. Oops.
it's legitimate. Smallman died. We all know that's the correct shot.
Um, I just like so seeing it. So Jake's sniper is a little bit laggy on the spectation side, so I just didn't. I was watching the spectation sniping, but like I just didn't see the safety come off ever, and then suddenly the game ended. so
Yeah,
so
I didn't catch what he got shot for, unfortunately.
he was
Another
at
fifty-one
statues, I
percent.
believe.
That's fair enough. Another 51% flirt here. These guys are, I think, pretty loose.
Um,
Phantom swap. It has to be, right?
yeah, yeah, that's got to be a phantom swap from Zero Doom. And honestly, even if you think it was a swap, at least give the spy the opportunity to finish the game, right? I
These
feel
guys have
like
been incredibly rapid fire with through the picks and bans. No, not watching the replays. This break to set up the missions on high rise is going to be the biggest break they have. Actually, we gave him a big break because I told Jake to reset his client. So, um, this is not surprising for me. I think they're playing here not necessarily to win, but to go go do whatever they want to do after they play Spy Party sometimes.
oh no. Uh,
Actually, everybody's playing to win. Let's be real. This is bronze on the line. Not directly. They need to win one game after this, but you have to win this to have that opportunity.
yeah. Stepping into high rise, this is Zero Doom's first singled pick. I think something
Uh,
that Zero Doom is pretty comfortable on.
we didn't get highlight for a potential bug there, but it was a bit awkward. Now we're just at an innocent bookcase. A lot of things are gonna be innocent here. We can just go to any bookcase, and there's nothing other than maybe a flirt or a fingerprint. Statues are less suspect. Drink takes are just AI
We could
like.
have maybe
That's
tried to
not
take
the
a.
pad. That's a briefcase. Uh,
you
I,
you were worried there for a second, now weren't you?
that's cheeky.
Oh
That's
yeah,
super cheeky.
I really like cheeky plays like that on bigger venues. On high rise, it can be a little bit hard to pull off. Although when the briefcase is all the way over there on that right side, because it's 3 of 5, because they don't have to memorize those statues over there, sniper does not tend to like to rotate all the way over and can miss things on that side of the venue. So it's very possible that Zero Doom currently has a fingerprint that was completely missed.
Yeah, the interesting thing is Ambassador has a drink right now, which means we could have actually gotten two fingerprints if we were really on it. We're
This
requesting a
could
drink
be
now.
difficult. No, I don't think it's difficult, is it?
I don't. Oh, it is difficult.
Oh, it is.
Red test.
But we read test, yeah.
For Zero Doom and Jake here, they've been hitting so many greens that when it comes to the one that has a different bar, Ambassador, go away.
We're gonna immediately start talking. I like that a lot. We start talking as soon as the ambassador comes up next to us, which kind of assures Jake, okay, this character hasn't bugged, because Jake would see if we bugged, the talk animation break And that's a really, really nice way to say, look at me, I'm not bugging and not being obvious about it. Zero Doom on top of what it could look like if the ambassador just stands there.
Yeah, Jake doesn't actually have any highlights or lowlights while beyond the ambassador, which on high rise, I feel like you should be using it for something, if not in specs for flirts. And we've definitely seen in specs. We took
And here comes another difficult fingerprint.
it is just in specs, but this is another difficult. This is a really old difficult too.
And the
We know about
ambassador
this
takes
one.
another drink, by the way.
There we go.
But it doesn't matter. We hit the green on this one. We could just finish with a contact and a flirt at this point, and
Yeah,
presumably a green flirt.
the benefit of ending with the contact is we are cutting short the inspects, and he'll wait for the second inspect potentially, not realizing the fingerprint. The benefit of not doing a banana bread is it's really hard to shoot for a silent game. Don't get two greens. The immediate talk is on camera. There's not too much to watch here.
Yeah, it could be an issue. Zero Doom does not have that, have the mission progress to complete quite yet. 40 seconds left on the clock. Could go for statues. Could go for the contact. Both
The
are
other
available.
the other inspector does go back to statues, but it's the same statues as previously.
Oh
We're gonna take
no.
them out with the banana bread anyways.
Banana
We
bread.
might get shot for this anyways. Yep,
Yeah,
we will.
that's just a shot. And I'm not sure if Jake was on top of the fingerprints or it was the fact that the instant talks into both conversations and then a contact coming off after the second one. I don't think Jake liked that. Jake is the type of player to shoot for those things, but the
Yeah,
jump
I'm
bug.
found with Jake's play, and we've seen more of it here, especially with the timber placement. He's not been cagey about putting a bullet into someone for behavioral. Um, he just instinctually has an idea of you're the bad guy, and he's not making the mistake of not shooting people he knows are the spy.
Yeah, that can be an issue if you're waiting for that confirmation to be like, alright, I shoot you now, even though I know you're the spy long before. It's kind of a balance though, right? You want to be saving your shot just in case you are wrong sometimes, but on the other
Oh,
hand,
as
you
we
need to
saw
be
with the
no.
Phantom Swap.
Yes, as we saw with the Phantom Swap. On the other hand, as you mentioned, that I know you're the spy. I'm going to shoot you now. Can be very strong if perhaps you've missed something. So there is that balance. You don't want to shoot too fast, but if you know they're the spy, you're certain. Sometimes it's better just to take that shot, even if you don't have that full mission count yet.
I mean, that's the world I live in, and I'm gonna be the only person in Diamond who doesn't shoot for just mission completions because everybody else, it's a very much the elite players count their missions. Um,
Yeah, and that's the thing
we
about
are
the
doing
elite
actually
players.
the most typical high rise start, which is just timer flirt. High rise has enough time where you can get away with timer flirt
Yeah,
pretty regularly.
for sure. In fact, I think it starts with more time than Ballroom does. Don't quote me on that, but
Yeah,
it's
we have
it's
to add more
close.
time because adding more people gets really awkward, especially around the area between the left side and the right side, like that gap that now Rocker and Boots are kind of in. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Toby's just hanging
yeah.
out there.
Pathing can get a little bit weird around that area if you add too many characters for sure, which means
Uh,
High Rise does have all the time.
we've just finished flirt. It took 2 minutes, but we're there.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
Disney loves it.
uh-oh.
Boots, no, what are you doing?
Uh-oh.
Boots, she hasn't talked. She hasn't done anything.
Uh-oh.
Now she's talking. Ah!
Oh no. Zero Doom. Zero Doom thought that perhaps Boots had bugged there, it looks like. And because of that, unfortunately, takes the shot. Boots had what, one fingerprint, one statue visit, and just after that, kind of bug suspicion, I suppose.
Yeah, on that same topic that we're just talking about, when you're shooting for mission completion, when someone's got one whiskey, one beer, one bourbon, they're drunk, but they're not necessarily the spy. You can wait till they do a second inspect. You can wait till they do a second print. The problem is you just know that they've been doing a lot, and you're not necessarily counting each particular mission. High rise, if you're going to be counting who's doing a- actual missions, is probably the best place to start. You have less people to deal with in a smaller map. We're on to ballroom here, and Jake's taken actual lead in this set, which we haven't seen. It's been a lot of ties here just throughout the set. Zero Doom starting on the small man.
Yeah, it looks like Zerodoom made the same contract that Jake did earlier. Unfortunately, it's not as strong as Venue. On the other hand, it's not
I
as
disagree. I
on
think
as
small
strong.
man's I think small man's as good.
He doesn't
The
garner
big
as much suspicion, is the thing.
he doesn't for no good reason. So the only reason that you have to worry about small man more on gallery than ballroom, in my opinion, is the dance is quite powerful. But the amount of cover that you can get, Zero Doom's not particularly taking it at the moment, but you can get a ton of cover and more importantly in a lot of different places. Gallery, it's just the back conversation that you're really worried about most of the time.
That's true. Ballroom uh, does have a lot of different ways you can get cover, especially as one of those shorter characters. And this is the shortest character. We could see a lot of.
Oh, really? The guy we call Small Man.
Perhaps that might actually be the case. Yes, Zirium looking around the party, looking for maybe someone to frame. Wheels has gone to center statues, does a 2 cycle, so Zirium
As has
probably
Pearls.
wants to. Yes, as has Pearls.
I
Zirium probably
believe.
wants to keep those in for contact.
Yeah, Wheel's gonna do a boat path. We're on the move here. We need to get our flirt done. I we
We're just next to the ambassador, kind of casually,
Jake
and we're
did a
not taking
really
a
good
bug.
job there. So he needed to rotate over to see the swap, and he did it a real quick to make sure that if Zero Doom was bugging, he wasn't giving him the 2 seconds to do so. He was able to check the swap and keep an eye on the bug. These guys, and it's particularly I think Zero Doom is using the pay DLC of mind control, and it's not fair.
Mind control and always green your flirts. I mean, it's kind of necessary for Zerundur to be greening his flirts right now. Oh no.
That was visible. That's visible. Are we gonna watch it? We're not gonna watch it. Banana Bread might get a shot
Banana
if we
bread.
were watching it.
Um, yeah, so the problem with that bug, the first bug on the way into conversation for Zero Doom, was that he triggered the bug going into conversation, but he walked and he took a position that was too far away in the conversation for the bug to land, and that timing just did not work out for Zero Doom, so he had to take the standing bug afterwards. Now we have 50 seconds left and need to find one more mission.
Route 1 would be just go to middle statues. I would suggest the back statues because
We're
Ambassador has
doing
touched the middle statue on
swap,
the
and I
other one.
actually wait. Hold on, I like this.
This
There's a
is a
lot
great
of
swap.
cover. There's a lot of cover for this. Put this
Yeah, we're
down.
not
Put this
being a
down and
highlight,
run.
and that the highlight's going to be the big tell if we're even acknowledged back there.
Yeah, this is what makes Smallman so strong. You just don't ever see him at that
And
statue.
this looks like a white swap. So Big Boy General is going to swap it. He did a really short path. We'll need to rotate over and shoot Smallman for it. The rotate happens. We've seen the swap, but we never saw Smallman.
Yeah, we never saw Smallman at the statue, and that's actually kind of one of my favorite plays to do on Ballroom. When you got that cover back there and you're playing a shorter character, go grab that statue, do a quick swap, and walk away. Zeridium not, following etiquette in this case, but still managed to make that play happen just because of all the cover, all of the the ambassadors at that center statue. General was covering us up, and that means that Zeridium is able to take the spy win and trying to find his first sniper win actually to even up this set.
Really?
Yeah, it's been a weird set, Po Noob. Normally you think, all right, they need to find
How
that
many spy
first
wins have
spy
there been
win.
in the whole?
Um, However many games there have been -1, so I'm gonna say
Oh, jeez.
eight spy wins currently.
Do we know the record for most spy wins? I feel like it happened not too
It's
long ago.
no, it almost happened not too long ago. It's like 9 or 10 or something like that.
This is a longer set, because we could go up to 16. Obviously, if they're just trading spy wins, it will end up being close. Both players need 3, and at this
This is
point, do you
cheating.
say that you actually would rather be just, in general, playing spy in this set right now, given the way it's gone
Yes.
so far?
I mean, personally, no, because I feel like
Oh,
I don't.
I saw your set against Yeesh. I
Yeah,
know
that
that
one
feel.
that one could not look more different from this one. 10 sniper wins in a row versus, almost all spy wins. In this case, Jake gets the early highlight for center inspects, goes to another center statue afterwards to pick up a flirt with their ST.
Yeah, Jake
Uh,
stated last time when we did interview, I believe in a turnout set, so week 1, that he does enjoy going to middle statues, especially in the challenger division, just because he felt like most people were not actively watching their highlights as much as they should be, which is interesting because in my mind, if you're highlight, it's really hard to do a hard tell. Jake has not found that to be true.
yeah, and look at this. Oh no, oh no. There is a number on screen that
Oh, the
one of.
Tobo percent.
Yeah, oh, there it
We call
is.
it the Tobo percent because Tobo, no matter where he is, if you get 99% and we're setting ourselves up for failure, he gets buzzed by a taser. He gets a little shock collar, and you hurt him every time. It's like killing an angel. We love Tobo, so don't do it.
Yeah,
Just green the flirt. Just green the flirt.
please.
Knowing these
Uh,
guys, I'd be kind of surprised if we don't green the flirt.
yeah, earlier we saw Jake actually kind of, missed the briefcase a little bit. Had to walk away a little bit faster than he did. Unfortunately, the lag is kind of making that hard for Zero Doom to see.
Yeah, we might do
So,
another. I think the reset did help him there, and I
all
think
right,
we'll just
we just greened the flirt. It's okay.
yeah, I like how Jake doesn't care. Uh, if he has a laggy client, it never shows. He just continues to hit greens. We're not purloining here, and that's interesting. It would have actually been if we hit a green lining up towards twin as the next one.
Yeah, Zero Doom is looking for the Purloin very heavily though. Ambassador's not super safe, is kind of safe, but zoomed all the way in on that
We're
list.
setting up another banana bread covering purloin here. We've requested the drink. The banana bread
Banana
is
bread.
green, but we're actually talking, and we're gonna get
Oh, it
shot for.
doesn't. Yeah, no, there was just no doubt in Zero Doom's mind. It looks like there, and Zero Doom takes his first sniper win of the set and evens it right back up at 5-5. Yeah, this is.
I'm telling them they can do one more client because it's just it seems like uh every 3 games or so it starts ticking. And conveniently it's close. If it hadn't been close, this wouldn't be necessary. But uh we actually got another shot, and that's nice. It's a change in pace.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like they're kind of finding their ground as far as, what the enemy spy is going to be doing and, what they need to be doing as sniper to catch them, finding their sea legs as it were as we step into Aquarium.
Yeah. It'd be a bit of a pity if Jake has to reset his client every 2 games, but uh Aquarium is going to be back to being somewhere where these dominant spy performances, especially with the amount of greens they're hitting and their eye for bugs, are probably still going to be spy biased in this context. We are going to have library as the last set, and unless Zero Doom wins both of those, we're going to end up at least playing a game there. That I would say is probably still sniper bias, but these guys have been changing expectations. It's loading up here. And here we go. We got Irish, we got Bottom Shark.
Yep, Bottom Shark could get an early flirt with our ST. No, never mind. ST
We're,
doesn't
we're
want to
now we're
stay.
heat ticket. It's fine. We're cool.
ST doesn't want to stay under the shark is what my meaning was. We could have just taken a flirt and just run away. This time we're not gonna two flirt.
Okay, 34%. This is new for Zero Doom. We'll see how he handles adversity. And there's been enough bar visits that the early purloin would probably be justified. I've definitely seen more. Aquarium, you got plenty of time, but you do need to use it eventually. If you do just stand around for a while, you can just put yourself in a bit of a bind, mainly because you can't do inspects immediately. If you're the big things that you can do that immediately are back statues or the purloin, and just immediately take and hope that your body cover covers uh, the crime.
Yeah. With the Purloin though, Toby does have a different animation. Does not pull back the list after the drink take if the if the list has been taken.
Can't see
So
Toby's animation if it's behind the shark goopy.
yeah, but you can know what his triangle's doing, and that tells you just enough you need to know.
Yeah, I learned quite recently that middle shark happens on the 40s. These are things that Yaren bothered to tell me after I played him in Aquarium, which is nice of him. That's assuming that you don't time add, which is why it's not applicable to any of my play, because I've already time added twice in this game. Instead, we got low shark and we got a bug, and this is
That's just not visible, is it?
yeah, you just have to take it, honestly. If they're watching it, and catch like the lower part of your lean or
Yep.
something, like good
So the
for
thing
them, but
is, with that lean, it's
And the
very
end of
hard
red.
to see, right? Just because the hair and the angle kind of blends into the ambassador's suit right now, as far as that goes, which is honestly really. I don't know if that was planned from Zero Doom, but if it was, it's very, very strong.
yeah, he was also maximum range. He was at that range where the ambassador doesn't get kicked out, what I call the golden bug. This
Oh,
is
we
just a
get.
direct purloin.
This is just a direct. We do get highlight.
Huh.
We weren't in for
So
real, and I'm not sure if Jake knows that.
we're framing somewhat. So we did the banana bread into purloin, which kind of feels like a BB purloin delegate. Um, However, we're highlight. I think the bug might be the saving grace here. If we do another banana bread, it'll potentially just look like we're being framed.
Yeah, because let's
Because we,
see.
it's really easy to, I mean, assume flirt, banana bread's been said, you were in conversation. That's like the easiest thing to ever do in a frame. You got
Yeah.
delegated to. We're just framing Irish. Ignore the bug. Just ignore the bug, and Zero Doom can get another spy win.
Yeah,
The, the
you
issue
say
here.
that, but the double agent is not being very friendly.
Yep. Uh, Can't bug. Go away, Ambassador. Don't make us look more suspicious. If Double Agent doesn't come into a conversation here now, oh, they're doing briefcase. Zero Doom getting juked out. It might need to be back statues, or well, we can't do Purloin. It probably swap, and we're probably gonna die for it.
Oh,
Uh,
the double agent. Come on, no!
we need to move now, or time ad. No, we're just talking here. It's not gonna do anything. Zero Doom, don't throw away the game. You've been doing so well.
Come
Oh,
on,
come on.
double agent comes into our conversation. Here comes the contact, but it's after 10 seconds. This is gonna be a
And the
lot
end of
of
red.
overtime. Here comes the contact, but 9 seconds of
The
overtime.
shark's coming.
Holy
The shark's
9 seconds!
coming. Wow.
The double
So
agent bails us out, and Duke gets shot.
that couldn't have been more tense. So I think maybe a different player goes, "Oh no, this double agent, they've ruined me," and we've already seen that. We saw that in game ones and two on gallery for both players. In this case, the otherwise AI mind control that Zero Doom has downloaded for the DLC has paid off. And unlucky for Jake, there didn't have the shot in mind, was not willing to shoot the person he saw take the list. Because who takes the list? That's a weird thing to do. That's an AI's job for a spy to delegate.
Yeah, and I think all of that idling really paid off for Zero Doom in the end there, just because there was no, they did not think, all right, this person's done more after this purloin. It's probably just an AI, and despite the fact that the person that Jake ended up shooting was not in a conversation with an SDA, despite the fact that the contact comes and the overtime happens. I think Jake just wasn't ready for that to happen and wasn't thinking straight, I think. It's that high pressure situation where you think, oh god, who is the spy? I'm not sure. And you take the shot on one of your highlights, but if you take a little bit longer to consider, and again, you don't have much time to consider, so it's hard to take a little bit longer to consider.
Yeah,
It's not the shot you want to take.
we're at a point where Zero Doom is at match point, and just looking at the
And the
end
end
of
of
Jake's
red.
season, I'm not sure the results are necessarily what you'd expect. So he beat Tabsies, and Tabsies has been doing very well since. He lost to Turnout, but then beat Wodar, and I would say Wodar would generally be considered the harder. We get highlight here in an assume real situation. It's a very assume real. He's also low lighting another conversation. Um, this might also just be related to the purloin.
I think he knows
Um,
where Seek came from on this one.
huh. Yeah, that's interesting. That's a weird way to catch purloin. Not necessarily mechanically, but just because that's not usually what we see. Do not take the reverse drive-by for good reason. That laser's just come over and said hi to us as soon as Ambassador came by. There's a lot of thought. You can just see it in Zero Doom's laser. He's really trying to figure out. I think it's a tense situation because the purloin and the banana bread. Um, but he doesn't need to shoot necessarily unless he's worried about a hardtail. Ambassador going to middle
Zero
conversation.
Doom
Terrible.
noticing an anti-tell by Oprah there. I was wondering if he was going to low light for that. I was just about to bring it up. Oprah was consistently resetting her idle animation in conversation with the briefcase. Spies have no way to do that, obviously, and so that's an anti-tell that you can just immediately low light for. And Zero Doom, on top of it, has the game knowledge, does in fact notice it happening, and takes a low light on a previous highlight.
Can we buy one more green, Jake? It looks like he's committing to the timer flirt, and we're only at 51%.
Uh
Or
oh.
JK. Nope. Zero Doom just wants to play more Spy Party. We're going 7-7. A Boots shot there. Another talk from Boots getting her shot. This is a second shot for flirting Boots. And I think it's just her talking animation is just too noticeable.
I think that Zero Doom was a bit worried there about the bug, perhaps.
With Aquarium, anytime the ambassador just goes behind the shark, you just got to be suspicious that someone, maybe not the spy necessarily, but at least someone at some point probably could have bugged from that spot. Um, with purloin, banana bread, and then clearly flirting. Um, the shot seems justified. Obviously not the correct shot. Okay. This is where it's a question, right? What's more powerful, the sniper bias of library, or the fact that these spies are incredibly dominant? This isn't going to be the match that really decides that. Zero Doom can lose this and still win on the sniper side, and it's a full Jake fashion. Every single set that Jake does has got to be coming down to the last map in this tournament placement. That's a bug. It's on camera. This could be quick.
Yeah, it could be, or it could not be, as we don't get highlight or shot at all for it. So Zero Doom could have just gotten away with that mission.
Ambassador, go away. We don't need you anymore. Don't frame us. We'll do it ourselves. Banana bread, just the left side of the conversation is not looking particularly juicy, but we are prepared for it. We do also have the option of doing a purloin here, though I don't advise it.
Yeah, Zero Doom has not, has been effectively resisting the call of the Toby that some of us fall prey to sometimes.
Yeah, this has just been really solid play from Zero Doom. He's been playing, not taking those like in those impulsive choices, while still not necessarily putting himself in timeout. I think in part because he's been hitting so many greens on the flirts. Um, Beyond that gallery game, in the gallery game he got a bit unlucky, and then he got a bit lucky later in the game, so it all evens out. The better player usually wins the set in the end because we just play so many games.
Yeah.
That's a Randy
Ooh,
White
this.
swap.
Yeah,
We're
this is a white swap. We're putting it right back down, and I don't think we're ever going to be seen here at this statue.
Yeah, so we were at this pad, we took the swap,
We
we
need to
went
walk
back to
back
the
over to the
pad.
other side of the venue,
It
though.
doesn't even look like Jake ever came over here. Now we're walking away from it. I think actually, if anybody's gonna get suspicious, it's still gonna be us.
Yeah, just because we were literally the only person over there at the time. Oh, we red test.
That's I think this is in part, so happens to me a lot when you are really trying to hit greens, and Zero Doom clearly has. He's been hitting them at a very high rate. It means you also want to try and hit the greens that are on the edge of the bar, and that means you end up with actually a bit more red tests than a player who's being a bit more conservative, who's less likely to hit greens, but and it also just doesn't hit red tests because they're not risking it for the biscuit.
Yeah, for sure. Zerodoom unfortunately does not have any of that flirt progress now because of it. But we do have 2 hard tells done. We're gonna get this flirt off at statues, hopefully.
Nope.
Nope! We got there a little bit too late. We hold it for too long, and now we're just gonna get the inspects, no flirt.
Yeah, we've been frames off here. Uh,
Are
it's
we gonna be seeing
generally
these
been
statues? Yes, we are, okay.
yeah, all three statues are the same. It if you remembered it that way, I'm concerned for you. If you look at the statues actually, 5 of the 6 are now the 2
Well,
statue, the Venus.
yeah, well, I'm sure that we should see someone shoot Damon here in a bit, right? Except swaps have already been done, so unfortunately not able to do that. We do see a time ad from Zero Doom, wondering about that reference I just made.
I
Pwn
do
Noob
like the
likes to.
I do like the argument that Damon was the closest to the swap, so it probably was him. But we did actually split the wrong way
Yeah. Uh,
with that argument. We got a minute 36. If the swap has even been noticed, then it's a bit tense, but still no banana breads have been said. There's no reason to shoot just yet. Zero Doom on the talk and runs.
oh
Doesn't he get
no,
a
that was
talk
on
earlier?
screen. That was on screen and just shot for it. Shot for it. Just Jake does not care. He will just shoot you for it. Done.
I've seen some players have decided that this is a thing this season. Flappy Davis punished all of Platinum over and over again for it. Yeah, stop talking runs while all you're doing is a flirt are shootable. It's a tell. It's a very big tell. This puts us at match point. Sudden death, if you will. Winner takes all. So best of
Yeah.
luck to our players.
And in this set, with how how many spy wins we've been seeing, do we even favor Zero Doom at this point?
No, I think I would take Jake slightly, maybe like 55-45 or 6-4. Just based on the way the spies have been going. Uh, we just haven't seen the sort of things just get spies shot for free. They haven't been doing white purloins, for example. Um, we're getting
Ooh,
highlight here, and that's brutal. We didn't time ad, I promise.
that's spicy. So this looks like actually my highlights against Eesh, since we're bringing that one up in this conversation. The early window flirt on library looks like Zero Doom's doing a little bit of pairing himself, noticing perhaps a trend. But you know, I don't think Zero Doom has actually done that much research. If he had, he would not have done that talk, flirt, run away move he did last game because he knows or should know that Jake just likes to shoot for it.
I think Jake has just played tabsies enough to not want to have to deal with the tomfoolery and the bamboozling. You got to play a real game, and that's why I think Zerodoom's been having so much success. Is he's been playing a very solid game beyond the stop talking.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Zero Doom, had those 2 hardtails didn't convert the spy win because of the being rude thing.
Bug? Oh, it's
It's not on screen, so it's not
completely
that
off
big of a
camera.
deal. Yeah, there's actually very little guarding of the ambassador going on here from Zero Doom. Lots of time the ambassador was off screen right there. Jake could have easily taken a bug.
Yeah, we're not.
Oh, that bug is
That could be.
completely
That could be.
visible.
He's shaking on it.
Zero
Um,
Doom shakes his laser over. Jake probably going to die for literally anything we do now.
the quick talk is not helping.
Yeah,
Go away,
lots
Zerodoom.
and lots of
We're not.
suspicion.
It's
I
not
just don't
us.
see any AI getting shot ever right now.
Yeah, it's really hard to force a shot on library, and things like doing a cheeky reject behind a pillar for a purloin are just not going to be possible with this much heat.
Yeah, and even if you try to lose that heat, it's so hard with 2 minutes left
Banana
here
bread.
to get this
We weren't in
working.
conversation. I promise, boss. We were most definitely not conversation, and we're most definitely not finishing here with inspect swap. Don't need to shoot us. Zerjum's
Zero
actually
Doom's
spent a lot of
not.
time on the other side of the
Yeah.
map, and now he should see us at mill statues. And does he remember that we bugged in his face? We're white
Here
testing. It's
comes the
coming down. 10
swap.
seconds.
Zero Doom is
Zero
not
Doom.
looking. He's looking at
Audio
the other side of
POW.
the venue. He's not gonna take the shot. Oh
3
my God!
seconds.
3 seconds left. He saw the bug. He shook his laser, but it's not happening. Not enough suspicion, and Zero Doom somehow is not able to convert that bug into a sniper win, and Jake takes the set.
Wow. Jake has put it down to like the last moment every game, but that's not the way I expected that to end. Zero Doom just really distracted, I think by Toby, honestly. Or maybe a particular character, despite the fact that he clearly saw that bug. It was a wrong arm, it was a bit behind the pillar. I think it was more maybe the path than anything.
The wrong arm was bad though. It
Yeah,
made
it
the
was
arm come out
wrong
towards the
arm towards
sniper.
the sniper. He doesn't shoot for it, and he just gets punished in the worst way possible.
Yeah, I thought for sure that Zero Doom had this set locked up with that bug, but you know that the early flirt highlight at Windows, the bug as a highlight right in the sniper's face, and still Jake somehow doesn't die.
I kid you not, I just hurt my jaw. Like the ow, the
Dropping
jaw
too
drop
hard.
there. Yeah, the jaw drop was so hard. It hurt earlier, but ow. Finish this off, Opie. Clean this out, unless we're doing interviews.
Okay. Um, I'm gonna ask if they want to do interviews.
Jake needs one more.
Oh
Uh,
my
we'll,
God.
we won't find out who it's going to be for the what is the lose win win bracket of the tournament placement. Don't try and get me to explain the way it works.
All right.
But the way it will work is Jake
We're
will
we're
play
hopping into
someone.
headquarters, by the way, for this
Let's
interview.
do it.
Hello, Zero Doom.
Hey, Zerdum.
Howdy.
We're still a little bit shocked about that last game. We thought for sure you had him on the ropes. Can you kind of explain what was going through your head? That why were you so distracted right at the end there?
Um, I don't have a good reason for it. Just flat out distracted. Yeah, I looked at the replay at the very end and I was like, oh shit, I didn't even look at him over there.
Yeah, so we were under the impression there, just based on a bit of laser shake afterwards, that you noticed the bug, at least in some extent.
Yeah,
Was that
I was like, I think that's a bug, and then I don't know, nerves.
it's game 16. You
Oh
guys
yeah.
played, I think, actually some of the smoothest spy we've seen in a long time. I think both of you guys came out really not showing any nerves, maybe just because of the stakes are being slightly lower than they had been, say, game one of this tournament. It was not necessarily the same on the sniping. I don't think the sniping was necessarily bad. You're just losing to really good spy play. It was 10 spy wins in a row, if not mistaken.
Well, not we had 8 out of the first 10, I believe, is what
Eight
it
out of the first
was.
10. Oh, jeez. Where I'm gonna ask Jake. I think now my favorite question I've been asking. At what point were you most nervous there, Jake?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Oh man, that's a good question, but I was nervous the whole time pretty much.
And what's it?
What was the second last map again?
You aquarium.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, Aquarium Spy I think I was the most nervous.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
the aquarium site was interesting. At that point, you guys had actually gotten a few sniper wins. And it was really on the line because Zero Doom had a couple match points there. We were having discussions in regards to because you guys are having so many spy wins that when we got to library, which is typically very sniper biased, we weren't actually sure who was the favorite in any particular game. That
Yeah.
wasn't actually a question. That was just a statement.
Yeah, the thing like when I first started playing this game, Library was my least favorite map because as people on the Twitch chat and past replays have complained about, I always move my camera back and forth, and I hate that you can't do that on Library. But the more that I've played Library, I actually really like it.
Yeah, you might not be surprised to know that there was a little bit of complaining about it in chit chat this match as well.
Nice. I'm glad.
I can tell you from your replays, I also was like, man, he moves a lot.
I got a
And
ultra low motion blur monitor, I gotta use it.
there's actually another player, and it really annoys me. It's Slappy Davis. And you actually did have a couple of plays there that reminded me of Slappy. You were shooting for more or less just stop talks, like real rude flirts. Was that something that you scouted out, or just you're always capable of doing?
That's like I'm always capable of doing in the sense that sometimes I notice it, but it's just kind of random what I do, I guess.
Yeah, otherwise, it just really good spy play. You guys were hitting a ton of greens in
Oh
general.
god. Yes. In the
Was that
first
something that you guys noted, or was it just like, yeah, just playing spy?
I didn't really note it, but the only practice I did today was I just went into spy practice and just did like 50 green tests or
Yeah, I mean, it looks like it paid off. Zerodoom in particular, I believe in the first three of his first four, in three of his first four spy games, no, green, just double green his flirt, and that was insane.
Every time.
Yeah, I never do that.
Zero Doom, I'm gonna ask you a trick question. It's a bit of a trap, but did you feel like you had good AI luck or bad AI luck today?
There are a couple games where I literally wanted to throw my keyboard, but some of the games went my way. But geez, that first gallery game,
The first
um,
gallery game where the double agent split as the contact happened, then walked right back into conversation
Oh,
as things timed out. That we were really sad for you there. And Jake had something very similar. Did a very slow game into an end game rush on his first gallery game, and his ST just did the 20-second walk from outside to inside, and he could not get that last flirt
and I
done.
think I might have blocked at the end too. I wasn't 100% sure about, but yeah.
There were a bunch of situations where the seduction targets just came straight to you, Zero Doom. We were wondering if you have the paid DLC for the green tests and the mind control and the seduction target.
over here, I was totally looking at my ST and saying, "Come here, right now."
I guess I need to start adopting that strategy because it worked for you, at least in a lot of the games. Unfortunately, the double agents weren't as as nice, except for that one aquarium game where
Yes, I was
Oh,
staring
geez,
at that
yeah.
PA,
it
and I
it,
was
it,
like,
it
"Please,
took him a
for the love of
while, but he
God,
got
we have to
there.
come to a conversation."
Yeah, you're a bolder man than I would have been in the back statues getting shot personally. One last question there for you, Jake, at least for me. Maybe OP has more Zero Doom. But you've had a lot of close sets here recently. Is this something where you think it might be an advantage in the future, where you're just going to be more hardened than most of the players you're going to be playing against in these like playoff or tense situations?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I feel like I split maps a lot of the time. So it just ends up being like that, but I don't really know why.
And yeah, to Zero Doom, just to give you guys the stakes if you weren't already incredibly aware, Jake, you're going to be playing, I don't know necessarily who, but you got one more game there and you're playing for bronze against whoever it is because you've gone lost win win. Zero Doom, I believe you get to do an honorary game, and really it's a bit of a pity, honestly. I think you've played well enough, and these particularly on the spy side there, you had a very good set against JD, and you just run into some very tough opponents, which is kind of the nature of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm happy that that SCL and the TOP is coming to an end. I'm sad it's kind of stops here for me, but I'm going to give my final game my best as
Just pick balcony and
I
end it
hate balcony,
slightly
dude.
end it slightly quicker.
That's true.
Uh, that being said, anything else you want to add out there, OP? Any other questions?
No, I think you covered all of it pretty well. Thank you, Ponoob, for co-casting with me tonight. Thank you, Bear, for hosting. Thank you for Zerodoom and Jake for allowing us to cast and come in here for the interview afterwards.
Yes, especially
And
Zero Dome. I know it's always a bit harder when you're just come off the hard loss, but you guys are both. And Jake, we already know you're a good sport from the first game of the tournament placement, but Zero Dome, I appreciate
Yeah,
you
no,
truly.
I tied my first game, my first match, and my second two matches I barely won with inspect swap at the very end. So it's just like the most tense.
Get a drink. Get some iced tea in there. Just like it's time. You get one more, and it's for all the marbles. So that being said, always, thank you to a bear. Just as always, just being on hand to be able doing the host, and just keep an eye out for other games. We're going to be probably doing some more casual, be it on this channel or like Spy Party fans, maybe Dell's channel, in regards to just these casts during the week, and then obviously we'll have the casts for especially the big games on this weekend, including things like the third round of the 2-0 finishers. We got some Diamond promotion match, Mirren versus Magician, and it's all going to be good fun. So just keep an eye out for things. Keep an eye on the Discord.
Yeah, and that does it for our broadcast tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and good night.
Cheers.